Even Esau knows what the MOTB is. Giving all praises to Yahweh Shem Shai Shem Rakakwadash. Now this is this video I'm putting up based upon the Elder GMS Vegas sit downs 144K, and it was in my notification, so I said let me check it out. And the title is ISUPK. Says the MOTB was around since the garden. No, it wasn't. Now, normally we'll get on ISUPK. I'm really not getting on them because I believe that a lot of those men in the ISUPK are sincere, but they're just being led astray, clearly being led astray. So I don't know who's sincere in that thing. Now I know General Yohana is clearly not sincere. He's not sincere. He knows what he's doing. Whether others know what the deal is or got that bag, because he had to have gotten that bag, man. There's guys. I have a strong belief that there's sincere men that are part of the ISUPK. So, I'm not going to come hard on them. Same thing with the IUIC and many other groups out there that are sincere, in all the groups. I mean, this is my personal belief. There's some guys that just blindly they'll come across a group, they'll come watch a couple of videos, they'll watch a couple of videos, and they'll take a liking to a particular group. Then they'll get in contact with that group or whatever. Just like when I came into the truth. Now the Spirit led me into the truth, but as I went to the classes, I was questioning whether this is the true truth. I even questioned, I used to question everything. And I remember there was a point where I was coming to the school and I went through, how them Christians come to have scriptures, they'll bring it, to us. Well, that's what I did with Ariah, because I don't want to, what if Esau and everybody can really make it? I want to know that. I want to know the scriptures that knock that. So I would ask Ariah, and Ariah would, and the rest of the high priest would go to a precept and say, well, you got to go to this precept, and you got to go to that precept. And then there was a point where I was totally convinced this is the truth. And then I was built in the Spirit. So you just can't go into this truth with a mentality of, oh, this is the truth, I'm just going to blindly follow these guys. The scriptures say, study to show thyself approved, a workman needeth not to be ashamed. And we haven't been ashamed yet. Rightly, vocab tried, vocab failed. Rightly dividing the word of truth, which means, goes back to Isaiah, precept upon precept, precept upon precept, line upon line, here a little and there a little. And it says, whom shall he teach doctrine, and who shall he make to understand the truth? Well, you got to go from one book to the other book, from one precept to the other precept, from one line to the other line. And that's through study. And then you rightly divide the word of truth. And these guys here at the ISUPK, they're not rightly dividing the word of truth. They're just going by what their leaders say, and they're regurgitating what their leaders say. This is why us we did videos on this in the past, and we're going to continue to do videos on the subject of the 7 went off on certain things. And more and more you begin to see that the true defenders, the true apologists, apologia, which means defender, are us. Because anytime we see a group going off, we're going to do a video on it. The last group that we went into is the HOI, which is the House of Israel, and they had did a video. And let me say this, man. These guys think we hate them. Now, I'm gonna say this about the HOI. One of the brothers out in the West, I believe he got shot or something like that, and I came across the video. They showed a picture of the brother, and he had a couple of sons or whatever, family and whatnot. And I was moved at it. And then the last video I saw was priest. I guess that's his title. Zabak. And you can see in Zabak's eyes, he wanted to cry, man. He was really hurt. And that I felt that, man. So I said, well, the least I can do is get together with our brothers and at least send money, for the funeral, to help the brother. And we sent some money, and then some brothers. I remember 2 brothers. I remember from the GMS Chicago camp that had put in significant. It was 2 of them. I forget their names, but it was on what do you call that account? Damn, what is it? GoFundMe. So I was going through the GoFundMe to see if he has enough money, and if we had to send more, we would send more in a couple of weeks. But I noticed there was two brothers stuck out from GMS Chicago, and they put in, not as a group, as individual brothers. They put in a large amount of money for one person to that brother. So, and I was like, hey, that's true brotherhood, man. You don't know the man, but you gave, because he's part of Israel. So that shows you that we don't hate the HOI or any group that we come against in the scriptures. We ain't got no, if they're demons, then may the Most High destroy their asses, man. But you got a lot of brothers that are led away by false teachers. And General Yohana is a false teacher. That there's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. He's a false teacher. Now, the question is, how many of those men know that they're teaching falsehood? So the name of this video, like I said, is ISUPK says the MOTB was around since the garden. Which is damn sure, which it wasn't, because if it was, wouldn't it have been mentioned wouldn't it have been mentioned in Genesis? The MOTB is officially not even here. You can say part of it is here with the Yab. That's why they're pushing the Yab, because ultimately, and if you notice, little by little, they're saying if you don't have the Yab, you can't go into stores, you can't go into, you can't go to work out, you can't go on the plane, you can't go on train. They're gonna have it. They're gonna cut everybody else if you don't got it. And if you notice, the Spirit is working with a lot of Edomites that you have police that don't want to take the Yab. You have nurses and doctors. You got a big number of nurses and doctors that don't, and they're speaking out. These nurses and doctors, they're speaking out against the Yab. So Esau is realizing the elite, the beast, whatever you want to call these devils, they're realizing they're having a hard time pushing this thing because it's a spiritual thing. And I always talk to people. I'm in the elevator. I ask them if they got it. You know, I strike up a conversation. Some people say yeah. Others say, and it's almost like 50-50. It's like if I ask one person, did you get it? They'll say, yes, I did. The next person, no, I didn't. There might be 3 or 4 people. Maybe one of them said they got it. The other 2 said, no, we're not getting it. We're not planning on getting it. So it's all spiritual, which we teach and believe that ultimately is going to be a charagma. So here you see the video. The mark of the beast is from since the beginning. ISUPK No Cowards. ISUPK Trinidad and Tobago. And they're dead wrong because they're following either the leader, which he speaks in the video. Either he knows that this thing is all BS, but he goes along with it, or he's sincerely wrong, you know? There's a account when King David's son Absalom looked to take down his father's kingdom, and he had to flee. And what he did was he set up a place where the people came to see the king, and he would be there before the king, and and they knew that Absalom was famous because he was a pretty boy, so everybody loved him, and so he would give counsel on behalf of his father, and the people not knowing that he really hated his father, and ultimately he got put to death. So, you know, this is what what's happening. Excuse me. Now, when we do a video, and this got to be a new video. This is a new video, and why they put it up? Because we've been putting up so many videos concerning this subject. Now, ultimately, if you don't get it, if you're part of ISUPK or IUIC or and then you have people that, and Nate should know this. If he doesn't know this, then he needs to know the state of his flock. You have at least one member that's a high-ranking member, Ayathan, that he knows that the MOTB is the fulfillment of Revelation 13. So where did I say I was going to go? Oh, this is what I did. I went to Google, put in what is the MOTB, and this is what came up, as you can see. And this is what Esau says. What is the MOTB? It says in Apocalyptos 13, we are told that the Antichrist, which they're off on that. There's no one guy that's the Antichrist. It's a system. The right-hand man, the beast. So the beast. So now they're teaching. These Christians are goofy. Like the brothers out of England did a video I was watching earlier. These Christians are goofy. They're goofy. And so Antichrist is one guy with a blue suit on, and his right-hand man is a guy with a black suit on. You know. No, it's a system, and we broke that down. And it was first spoken about in Daniel 2 and Daniel 7. And that's why I always go to Daniel 2, Daniel 7, Revelation. I always come back to those breakdowns, interpretations. So it says his right-hand man, the beast from earth, also known as the false prophet, which is not a man, will and that shows you that these Christians don't understand the Bible. These scholars are all messed up in the brain. They don't know what's going on. will introduce a mark to bolster his one rule. Well, there is a one world government which they want to fully establish. He causes all, both small and great, rich and poor. Small and great, rich and poor is small and great, man, woman, and child. Rich and poor, man, woman, and child. Free and bond, or free and slave, man, woman, and child, to receive a charagma on their right hand or on their foreheads. On their foreheads, so we know that the jab is not actually the thing, because ain't nobody putting a jab in your forehead, and that no one may buy or sell, except what you're doing now with the jab. You know, if you don't have the jab, or you don't have this or that, you can't go into restaurants. You know, you can't. Oh, if you don't have the jab, you can't work at a particular job. Military people are leaving. A certain percentage of military people are leaving because they don't want to take that jab for whatever reason. Maybe they read Apocalyptos 13. Maybe they heard us. Maybe they heard some down south Edomite pastor break it down, because these Edomites know what it is. These Edomites know, these Bible belt, Bible thumping Edomites down south, which a lot of them are Jake. They know exactly what this is, and that's why they're taking it, for biblical reasons. It said buy or sell, and that's what they're doing with the jab. And like I said, I'm going to say it again. It's the MOTB is not the jab. It's something coming. Because now they're giving you a series of them. In Apocalyptos 13, it says one charagma. Buy or sell except one who has the MOTB or the name of the MOTB or the number of his name. Let's read a little bit more. The word used in the passage for the mark is the Greek word charagma. Now, when you look up the word charagma, we did videos on it, many videos on this. Charagma is mentioned in the mark is mentioned in Revelation as being the Greek word charagma, but it's mentioned one other time outside of the book of Revelation, which is the book of Acts, where the Apostle Paul says that you cannot compare the Most High, the Godhead, with idols, things made from gold and silver and stone and wood, that the graver's hands, I'm just paraphrasing it, grave what, like a piece of jewelry. Your name might be on the piece of jewelry. Well, that's the Greek word charagma, which means to engrave. It says in antiquity, this word was always associated with the Roman emperor. It often contained the emperor's name. Right, it was like the gold coin. The gold coin, somebody had to engrave the emperor, maybe put a picture of the emperor, a likeness of him, and you would buy and sell with the emperor's money, his image and the year of his reign. Like when they commemorated coins. So they had to do it the old-fashioned way. They had to get a man to melt the gold down or the silver down to silver, and make it into a circle, a coin, a round. And they had to say, well, the current emperor is Nero Caesar. So they would put Nero Caesar. They would put a likeness of him, and they would put it into circulation. So in order for you to buy and sell, you would use that coin. Well, even the Lord said, whose name and inscription or image and inscription is on this coin. And the disciple said to Caesar, he said, well, render unto Caesar what is Caesar's, and unto the Most High what is the Most High. It said it was necessary for buying and selling and was required to be affixed to documents. Yep, you had the seal, which they do that today, to attest to their validity during the tribulation, which they're saying is coming. They're off, these goofy Christians are off on that. Every living person will be required to take the beast mark as in the days of Rome, because this is Rome all over again. This is the deadly wound being healed. How many times we got to go through this, man? We're the only camp that teaches this. There's camps that do, know about it, but they don't teach it. We're the only camp that pushes it. I didn't want to push this because I did many videos on this, man. We did a couple of so-called documentaries on this, man. It will be the only way to function in society. So there's certain places that you go to, like if you go to downtown Manhattan, and I might just do that, man. Go down there as a field trip or something, and see how many places we can get into. So it means it will be the only way to function in society. So ultimately, you're gonna have to have that mark. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say. With that, I'm gonna say shalom.